What's up, guys? So I'm sharpening this WIHA right here that came in yesterday for sharpening. I already got started on it. Pretty much done with the reprofiling. I'm sharpening it at 20 degrees per side. Ooh. That's what I started with because it has a pretty, it had a pretty small looking bevel and the blade looked somewhat thin. So I tested out 20 degrees and it was just a hair lower than the factory edge. So means it's gonna gain some cutting performance and it's gonna gain some edge retention and still not be too far off from the factory edge. Well, the look of the factory edge, because I believe the owner of this one plans on selling this one. So I don't want to do anything that's going to make it look like it's been really altered in any way. And of course, as you guys who normally watch me already know, I always mark the edge with the Sharpie every time I flip, because that way I can see exactly what's going on. And if anything changes right away, say if the knife was to shift a little bit or start moving around, I would be able to see that the angle has changed. And just because the angle is locked in right here doesn't mean that it can't change, because if the blade shifts, that can throw off your angle. And right now I'm on the 140 grit stone. I started off with the 300 grit. And if you take a look right here, I have 2 zip ties on here. I started off with just 1 zip tie to protect the plunge grind, keep it from getting that smile, but there was a little bit too much exposed and I was scared that it was going to start creating a smile, so I threw an extra one on there just to be safe. And now the stone comes right up to the end of the edge. It's pretty much perfect to where it's not going to create any smile, and it's sharpening the entire edge still. Check and see if there's any comments, guys. I'm sorry, I can't see your comments as they come in due to the way I have this set up right now. But yeah, if you're here watching, comment and let me know. All right, Eugene Krebs. What's up, Eugene? This is actually one of the knives that Eugene sent in. So this is maybe my 4th live stream I've ever done. Hopefully I start to get the hang of it. But there's not really a whole lot to do as far as the live stream is concerned. I'm pretty much just going through the sharpening as if I normally would, or how I normally would, and just allowing you guys to pretty much watch me as I go through the process And anytime I come across anything that I feel is noteworthy or that may be, you know, a tip that would be helpful for you guys, then I will be letting it be known. Sorry, can't speak today. All right, we're gonna switch to the 300 grit. This is the KME Gold Series Diamond Plates. I believe it's like aluminum plate, and it has diamonds are bonded to it or glued to it. These are great, they're very effective. And if you've been using, if you have these stones or any diamond stones, diamond plates for that matter, and you've noticed they have started losing their aggression and they're not working as good as they used to, you can use isopropyl alcohol and you spray it down and take a magic eraser. This one has been used for probably like almost a year now. So yes, it does wear out the magic eraser, but you can get many uses out of it. You don't want to be too rough with it. You want to be gentle so that you're not tearing it up too much. And then instead of the alcohol like I would normally use, I'm testing out this honing oil / stone cleaner that I got from Scott Gunn, along with all the Gunny juice and the Gunny Glide. So drop 2 drops on there. Take a corner of this magic eraser. And I like to go in kind of a circular motion, really light. And I typically just will use a corner. That's why, whoa, it's a little bit worn down on this side, but that keeps you from wearing out the entire thing. All right, take my rag. This is ensuring that I'm going to get the maximum cutting power out of my stones. 2 more drops, because this formula serves as both a cleaning oil and a honing oil. So it will prevent the stone from loading up and getting clogged with all the steel particles. All right, have my edge marked. When you get towards the tip, you want to be very cautious because there's nothing protecting you from coming off the side over here. I was actually thinking about inventing something that maybe you can clamp on to the KME frame that will basically block the guide rod from coming out past a certain point, and maybe making it adjustable so it can be like a bumper, kind of like training wheels, you know? It will prevent you from, or like you know, bumpers on a bowling alley, that kind of deal. Prevents you from fucking up completely. Now you can come out a little bit past the tip, but on a Warncliffe or reverse tanto, kind of straight edge blade like this, there's no need to come out past the tip really. Some blade shapes require it, but on a straight edge, you don't need to come out past the tip any more than maybe a hair, like a millimeter. And if you're having trouble removing all the Sharpie from the tip and you're going out towards the tip, try coming from the tip and going towards the heel, and bring the stone out off the front of the tip, just maybe a millimeter each time. You don't want to be coming out to the halfway point, because that's when it starts getting risky of rolling off the edge. So just like a millimeter, light pressure, And you can come from this side. And I also like to put my finger under here. That also keeps me from rolling off. All right, looking good. Red flipper. Nice. So I have a burr across the entire edge. However, it has been greatly reduced since I first started. So when I started with the 100 grit stone, the first burr that I got was a little bit on the larger side. And I started off on this side. I took it almost all the way apexed to where there was, you know, I had the burr across the entire side, but the bevel started looking a little bit big for 20 degrees per side. So I went ahead and flipped it before I completely got that burr across the entire edge and brought this side down and until I got the burr coming from this side. And that helps keep everything even. If you're grinding away for what feels like a decent amount of time with a stone as low as 100 grit diamond, you don't want to stay on one side too long. I mean, that goes for all the grits of your progression, but especially with the lower grits, you don't want to be overdoing it. It takes a whole lot more time to try to even the bevel back out once you grind too much from one side. So for anybody who is just now hopping in and hasn't been here, we are on the 300 grit KME Gold Series Diamond. And this edge has already been reprofiled. It's already been apexed. Now I'm just working up through the progression. And I can't see the comments while I'm doing this, but I'll take a break in a second and check to see the comments and answer any questions anybody might have. Looking good. I got the burr a little bit big on that pass. Just trying to make sure the edge bevel is completely evened out. I'm kind of working out some of that while I'm still at the 300 grit, since it's still a little bit of a lower grit and I can still move some steel around if I need to. Once you get up past that, it becomes a little bit more difficult to really move steel side to side. There we go. All right. Got 5 people in here and 4 likes. That's what's up. All right, let's see if I can see any comments. Nice, nice. So Eugene's here. We have Steve's. What resolution is your potato? I don't know what that means. If you're talking about my camera, I'm using the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It should be, well, since I'm streaming from a cell phone, yikes. Go. The resolution might actually improve a little bit just with my regular cell service, believe it or not, because the Wi-Fi is that slow. So that might be, if there's issues with the resolution, there's a good possibility that is why. I apologize. And Steez, what's up? Brandon Lowe, if you're having a trouble spot, is it okay to add a little more pressure? You can. It really depends on the situation. That's kind of hard to say. Emphasize a little bit more detail on what kind of problem and where you're considering adding the pressure, because there is certain situations where adding pressure is definitely, necessary. But if you do it at the wrong time, then whatever you're having issues with, if adding pressure is not the solution, you can end up making that issue even worse. And then, you're working away from your goal. You don't want to create more problems. You're basically, the entire process, you're trying to refine everything and perfect it and eliminate any issues per se. Right after the sharpening choil. Right after the sharpening choil, all right, let me ask you this. What is the reason that you feel like you need to add pressure? Is it because your edge bevel is looking smaller back by the sharpening choil? Or, that's really the only reason I could think of why, unless you're having trouble apexing back there. So it's smaller, even if I spend more time there. All right, so most likely that has to do with the way you have your blade clamped. If it's a straight edge knife like this, okay, you're gonna wanna clamp it in the center of the blade, everything parallel, and there's no reason that it should be any thicker from the front to, from the tip to the heel. It should be completely even. Now, if you are sharpening a Spyderco knife, let's see, good thing I have one in my pocket. I usually draw a line from the tip to the heel right above the edge bevel. So top of the edge bevel at the tip to the top of the edge bevel at the heel. All right, and then I will clamp it with that line parallel with the front of the clamp, and that will help give you an even bevel for a blade like this. Now, you still want to clamp it in the center of the blade as far as the cutting edge is concerned. You don't want to consider the center of the blade of the actual blade, since the cutting edge starts all the way out here. You want to be clamping in the center of where the cutting edge is and have that parallel with your line from the tip to the heel. And that will help you have an even bevel all the way across. But a lot of, very, very rarely is pressure the way to solve that. 99.9% of the time, it has to do with the clamp location. Oh snap, Neves is here. What's up, Jared? Literally sharpening myself in Evo 2.0 and then onto an Arius. Nice, nice. Check this shit out. This is another knife sent in by Eugene. This, I called it the Mini Evo yesterday, but it's actually the Mini Tempest. This thing is fucking beautiful. Holy shit. $20 fucking donation from these knives. That is insane. Thank you so much, brother. You are amazing. God bless you, man. If I don't know how to comment from my phone, but if I could, I would do the ding, ding, ding. I made a little emoji for it. Damn, that's amazing. I really appreciate that. Gregory Burke, what's going on? Alex, what's going on? Brandon Lowe, you are welcome, brother. And all right, let's get back to this. And Brandon, if you have any more sharpening questions or whatever, I don't want to keep stopping necessarily on this sharpening because some people might want to actually see me sharpening this, but feel free to message me on my social media, such as my Instagram. My Instagram is at Blades and Fades, and then it has 1 underscore at the end, I believe. So my profile picture on my Instagram is the Blades and Fades logo. So it shouldn't be too hard to find. And you can message me on there. You can send me pictures or videos of exactly what you have going on. And I'm always willing to offer advice and help out. Now, we're still on the 300 grit, but at this point, everything is it's pretty refined. So I'm just going back and forth every couple passes, or since I do kind of not a scrubbing, like a sweeping motion, every couple sweeps, I check it, feel underneath the edge, I feel for a burr, and if that burr is over on the other side, I stop immediately and flip it, and I'm reducing the amount of sweeps or passes each time I flip it, and essentially reducing the burr on both sides, or reducing the burr as it passes from side to side. And that also will make the burr weaker and eventually break off, as long as you're not making it any bigger. Let's take some alcohol, clean off the Sharpie real quick, show you guys how it's looking, and then we will move on to the 600. Now this rag I'm using right here, this rag has not been used for sharpening before. If you're wiping your blade off, you want to make sure you are using a rag that you've not used when you were sharpening before, because if you have any pieces of burr or steel particles on this rag and you're wiping off your blade, you can very easily scratch up your blade, and you don't want to do that. So be very, very careful when it comes to that, if you're concerned about the scratches. If you don't care, then, you know, no big deal. But a lot of times your scratches don't come from when you're cutting. A lot of times they come from actually when you're wiping your blade off. All right. So this is at 300 grit. As you can see, it should be nice and even. Oh, let me see while I'm back here. Jared is the patron saint of the YouTube knife community. Amen to that. Yes, he is. He is an amazing guy. I appreciate you, Jared. That's crazy. That is my my largest live donation I've ever gotten. My second ever, actually. But size of it doesn't matter necessarily. I appreciate all of them, but I mean, $20, that's very generous. And I'm fucking shaking the camera all up. Sorry, guys. I have a little bit of ADHD, ADD, so I get sidetracked easy. See this other side of the blade. 20 degrees per side. Somebody let me know how the resolution is, if it's any better now since I disconnected the Wi-Fi. I know that sounds crazy, but the Wi-Fi here is so bad for some reason that I actually think I'll get better resolution off of just the cell phone service. But are you guys able to see that? Looks great here. All right, awesome. Thank you, Jared. Appreciate you, man. All right. Moving on to the 600 now. Jared, I'm trying out this stuff right here for the first time. This is something that Scott Gunn sent me. It is his new honing oil / stone cleaner. It's supposed to work as both. He said just put a couple drops on your diamond stones, diamond plates, and then use the magic eraser, which the magic eraser works great. It'll work by itself. It works even better with isopropyl alcohol, and supposedly it will work even better with this stuff. This is my first time testing it out, so kind of hard to say right now at the moment. I mean, it's definitely working, but you know, sometimes it's hard to really make that judgment right away. Then just add a little bit more. Take my rag, get some of that up. All right, so now I don't see any more steel particles coming up, so we will, oh, no fucking way. That's the 140. Good thing I caught that. We went from the 300 to 140. I would have been pissed, man. Oh my God. Thank you, Jesus, for not allowing me to do that. Move these straps out of the way before they get messed up. All right, 600 grit, here we go. Beautiful. You guys see how quick and clean that came off? So that's how you know that your profile or your reprofiling was done well and that you're basically at the right step in your progression. When you get to 600 grit, if you can make, you know, such a light sweep like that and basically clear all that Sharpie and pass the bird to the other side, you are looking really good. I mean, that's pretty much picture perfect in my opinion, or from, you know, as much as I know, but of course I'm not the, you know, the be all say all. Does fibers from the eraser get on the stone? So not really. I mean, the magic eraser surprisingly stays together pretty damn well. I mean, you do wear it down a little bit. There will be a teeny small bit of fibers, but it's pulling up all the steel particles, like literally all of them. And then that's why afterwards, if you just spray it, or sit that there, you can literally watch all that stuff just falls off of the stone. And you take a microfiber, and yeah, any of the fibers from the magic eraser, they don't get stuck in here, like they don't clog it up like the steel does. And I mean, I'm telling you, man, I was amazed. I was like, I didn't really believe it at first either when somebody told me magic eraser, because typically I would just use a brush or something and isopropyl alcohol, which I always have the isopropyl alcohol with me, and I would just scrub it with the brush, rinse them off, you know, soap and water, all that stuff. And I would get a good bit off of them, but nothing like the first time I used the magic eraser. I mean, the first time I used it, I did with the alcohol, and man, it was after I had already cleaned it with my previous method with the brush and everything. So I thought it was clean, but I got a whole lot of steel out of it, and it really brought these stones back to where they're performing a whole lot better again. So pretty cool stuff. Now, as far as the I'll have to try it. Super good idea with the eraser. Yeah, Anthony, definitely try it. And Jared, yeah, I have ceramic stone eraser that works good also. It looks like a stone, but it's some sort of rubber. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to try that out too. I'm always, you know, open to trying different things, but it really amazed me how effective the magic eraser was, and it just goes to show, you know, why it has the name it has. I mean, as funny and ironic and stupid as it sounds, or cliche or whatever the word is, but I mean, especially when it comes to knives, there's so many purposes for magic erasers. It comes in clutch with so many things, especially like DLC finishes. If you get a scratch in your DLC blade, you take some mineral oil and put it just like on the corner, and you do little circles on the blade, and it will get that shit right up. Like, it'll be pretty much like new. It's definitely good to stay open to new things. There's so many different ways to skin a cat, so to speak. Yeah, for sure. And you never know what you might like better, you know? Just because you find something that works, it doesn't mean not to try other things. I mean, that's how I've gotten to the point where I'm at with my sharpening. Started off, you know, watching all kinds of videos from people that I didn't really know anything about, and I would take, you know, a couple tips from one person and put them to the test, and sometimes they wouldn't help me at all. Sometimes I would make a little bit of a breakthrough, and it would be a, you know, very beneficial. And that combined with, you know, me just practicing and figuring out some things on my own and continuing to seek, you know, better information from sharpeners that are actually, you know, people that can show that they really know what they're talking about. For example, like Scott Gunn or Brian Spalding. Brian does the customer service for KME, and he's around in the KME users group on Facebook. He's an awesome guy. He has a YouTube channel also. I'm trying to think of the name of his channel right off the top of my head. Shit. Something with Sharp in the name. Go figure. Damn it. Yeah, I'm having a brain fart. But Scott Gunn's channel is Gunny Sharp Talk. He has a ton of great tips on his channel. He is a wealth of knowledge. And then, of course, Jared has a ton of great sharpening information on his channel. Sharpening tips, tutorials, all kinds of stuff. And Jared has a lot of sharpening tips for different systems and different methods. He has a lot with the Work Sharp. He has, now he's doing some with the TS Prof Cadet. He also shows you a lot of freehand sharpening tips. So it's definitely good to know, you know, have multiple different ways to sharpen also. Which I just touched up on. Motherfucker, I hate when that happens. I just my freehand skills the other day. I had somebody come into the barbershop and saw me sharpening a knife and asked me if I did sharpening, and I just went to it. I just grabbed one of my KME stones, and it was a Tanto. And it was actually my first time freehand sharpening a Tanto, and I shit you not, it was even easier and came out even better than the ones that I do on this sharpener. And look, here's one that I sharpened on the KME, and this came out perfect. Freehand with a Tanto, so fucking simple. I was blown away. Well, as long as you're able to keep your angle and hold your angle, If you have trouble maintaining your angle, then it's not something I would necessarily recommend. Well, I wouldn't recommend you to do it on any of your nicer knives. It never hurts to practice on a cheaper knife, but yeah, I mean, it went quick. It worked out great. It was pretty cool. And I got off to a little bit of a rough start, but I mean, within a couple minutes, I had it worked out. And man, talk about saving time and everything. That's definitely one of the benefits with freehand. You can save a lot of time, but you can also, if you're not careful, you're not paying attention, you can also create a lot of problems for yourself really quickly. And if you're not able to get out of that situation freehand and you have to throw it in the clamp, then you know you're probably looking at more time than if you would have just done the clamp guided system from the beginning. All right, let's check, see what we got going on. All right, looking good. Mark this one more time. Damn it, I hate when I come up on the side of the blade with the Sharpie. Check the comments real quick. Chris Wolf, what's going on, brother? Definitely taking advice before that wasn't wrong, but just wasn't right for what I was doing. Yeah, same here, man. Yeah, man, the Tanto ended up being, it's intimidating if you don't know what to do, but they are definitely a lot easier than I ever expected, especially freehand. I mean, not saying they're hard in a guided system, because they're not, but freehand was, I don't know. I mean, it was just like really freaking simple, it felt like, to the point where I was like surprised. Boom. All right, let me try to knock down this burr now. Last little bit. Put some honing oil on there. Look, I just dropped that honing oil on there, and you see all that steel that's coming up? That was just with my fingertip. Pretty neat. All right. Gotta focus. Very light pressure. And we're only doing edge leading strokes. When you do edge trailing, you're pulling your edge out, which can essentially just make your burr bigger. Nice, nice. And we're still on the 600 grit. We are trying to remove the burr pretty much at this point. Then we'll go to the straps. Wow. Damn. I don't even feel a burr. Hold up. Shit. Might be doing better than I thought. Damn, I don't feel any burr at all right now, but I'm just gonna do one pass per side, a couple times back and forth, just to make sure. And this is with super, super light pressure. I'm actually taking weight up off of the stone, not even the full weight of the stone. Tip was looking different on this side. Had to straighten that out real quick. But it is not ideal to start doing more passes in one spot and everything, especially when you get to this point and if everything was good, then you're really risking causing issues. But I don't think it'll be anything that I can't handle. All right. And also at this point, I'm feeling the edge every single time. I'm feeling for the burr, I'm feeling for all that stuff. So the tips can be really tricky, guys. Fucking with you at any time, even once you, motherfucker, even once you have everything reprofiled. And honestly, a lot of times it's best not to try not to be super fixated on the tip. As long as you're doing everything, you know, the way that you know you're supposed to be doing it, it's better a lot of times to not stay super fixated on the tip, because the tip will drive you crazy and it can pretty much mess up your whole sharpening progression, your whole process. You can get through, you know, pretty much to the end of your plans, and then you don't want to let one little thing basically mess everything up for you. All right. See what this does. Hoping this is the last couple passes now. See what happens. Oh snap. I think this might be it. One more. Super light. There we go. This is alcohol that I'm spraying on here. Grab a clean rag to clean up the rest of this, because I don't want to take any chances of any steel particles in this rag scratching up that blade. The best tantos to start out freehand American tantos with all straight edges. Yeah, absolutely. Recurve tanto. What was that? A Norseman? And Gregory, I know you're asking Jared, but I really like the KME. I think it's a great in between option. What I'm saying is, it's a hell of a lot better than a work sharp. I mean, there's not really any comparison, honestly. But it's also not the same as like a TS Prof. So, yeah, it's the stones. The stones are, you know, affordable. There's a lot of different companies that make great stones, like these Columbia Gorge Stoneworks resin bonded diamond stones. With just the 4 KME stones that the kit comes with, and then 2 of these Columbia Gorge resin bonded diamond stones, I can get mirrors, like mirror polished edges that are sharp and, you know, all day. Easy. These are only $25 a piece. If you get, say, like a Wicked Edge or something, you know, you're looking at $100 for each stone attachment, or if not more. And then, yeah, Lansky and Work Sharp, I gave away my Work Sharp. I still have my Lansky. That's what I started off on. And I was able to get some great edges with that. I used the Lansky for a long time, but I will say you have to learn how to make the Lansky work for you. Same thing with the Work Sharp. The thing that I like about the Lansky is that the clamp is not as quick getting it clamped in, but it is a lot more sturdy in there. Once you do get it clamped in, you're locked in good. And it has slots instead of an adjustment, all right? And the slots have some wiggle room, but if you hold your finger up against the guide rod and you hold it to the top of the slot, or hold with your finger above it and keep it down to the bottom of the slot, that's taking out pretty much all your play and wiggle, and will help you to get a nice, consistent, sharp edge. I mean, the Lansky works just fine, but going from the Lansky to the Work Sharp to this is like it's a dream to use this because your stone is a little bit wider. They cut better. I mean, it's just, it works a lot quicker. I'm a little bit slower than the average person because I'm really OCD and I'm really particular and I don't like rushing through it. But I mean, you can knock some edges out quickly on this thing if you want to. Versus with the Lansky, I had the aluminum oxide stones, and I could do some beautiful mirror polished edges and everything, but it might take me 4, 5, 6 hours of working on it when it comes to the Lansky. I mean, it would take maybe 3 or 4 hours just to get the reprofiling done. So, you know, it's, I really like the KME. I don't think you can beat it for the price. I know it seems steep and expensive. If you haven't ever spent that kind of money on a sharpening system, but for what you get, I think it's definitely worth it. I mean, there's nothing else that you can get for the same amount of money that's really gonna come close to it as far as the ease of use and performance. And this right here is my new Basswood Strap. I have gunny juice on these, starting off with the 12 micron. Keep in mind, the stone we just finished up with was the 600 grit. The feedback is a little bit, it's a little bit hard to feel, honestly, with the 12 micron on wood. When you get to the 9 micron, it's much easier to feel when you're at the right angle. Not really sure why that is, but look, this 9 micron hasn't been used before, and if you saw like how this is dark, this is loaded with emulsion, but that darkness comes from the steel when you actually, after stropping. So as I make more passes with this, you'll see this wood darkening up, and that's showing you that this is working. It's actually doing its job and cutting steel. Let's go heal the tip. All right, guys, that's how we're looking. There's 600 grit and then 12 and 9 micron. And you can see how this strop is now darkened up a little bit. Let's see here. Whoa. Yeah, it's shaven. Doesn't feel quite as sharp as I expected, to be honest, but you know, that's how things go sometimes when you're live. You can't really plan out or script how a sharpening is gonna go. And I would be lying to you if I told you that everything goes perfect every single time. I mean, there's a lot of times run into issues, all kinds of stuff. But a lot of becoming a better sharpener really, in my opinion, is when you learn to work through those things. I mean, eventually it would be nice to get to the point where you don't have to deal with any issues, but I don't know if that's really realistic or not. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the 3 micron gunny juice on KANGAROO. So, gonna wipe the blade real quick. We'll do some 3 on Basswood. All right. We just hit the 3. Oh, we hit the 3 on KANGAROO and then hit the 3 on Basswood. This is feeling pretty damn nasty right now. It would help if I had some more hair on my arm. Go to the 1. it on. I think this is 0.25 Kangaroo. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, it's blowing through hairs now. All right, let's take a look. I stopped at 600 grit, and then I stropped. I think I did 12 micron on basswood, 9 micron on basswood. I skipped 6, went to 3 on kangaroo, then 3 on bass. Then I hit 1 on basswood. Then I went straight to 0.25 on kangaroo. Because I'm not going for a mirror polished edge on this one. And, you know, sometimes I just try out different stuff. This is feeling really, really sharp right now. Let me get some phone book paper and see what we're looking like. All right, I think it's sharp. What do you guys think? Yeah, Gregory, that is always an option. Sorry guys, I'm going up through the chat and seeing what I missed here. Yeah, David, the zip tie will save you from marking up your plunge grind. Thank you, Eugene. Maybe I should simply pay someone such as, yeah, that's, if you're not comfortable with it, you know, I'm always willing to accept sharpening clients. It's just for anybody who missed it. Oh. I don't like hunting that way. All right, not getting any snags. Try one more thing. Good old Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I like using this for testing too. Oh no. I think I hit a snag. Right there. I hit a snag. Or I don't know if it's, was the bend in the paper? All right, so maybe right here and right here. Do a couple more passes on the strap. Now actually, I have a little, a little magnifying glass kind of deal that magnifies, I think, 30x. And I can actually take a look at the edge right there and right there to make sure there's nothing going on. And this is what I do with every knife that I sharpen for a client. After I'm finished with the sharpening, I go through a lot of fucking phone book paper and Smoky Mountain Knife Works paper. So shout out to them for providing my test medium. But yeah, and I make sure that there's absolutely no issues and that everything is sharp and good to go before I send it back. And I think that's what anybody should do, and probably anybody that sharpens as a business, I'm sure they do. But I think that's important that you're making sure you're doing a good job for the people who are paying you. Go back to the chat. Hey, yeah, hell yeah, Jared. This video is sponsored by Smoky Mountain Knife Works magazine paper. Fucking right. for the live, Blades. Appreciate the content, brother. Keep on keeping on. You're welcome, Chris. Thanks for being here. All right, guys. I think I'm about to wrap it up with this one. If you guys want to hang out a little bit longer, you can. I'm going to do a little bit more with the strap and focus in kind of in these two spots. Well, obviously you don't want to only focus in two spots. You want to do the entire edge evenly, but that's the two spots that I want to really make sure that there's no issues with. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get my camera to focus in through my magnifying glass thing. So here's a little magnifying glass thing. And matter of fact, I got this from Gritomatic. So it says 40x 25 millimeter. I have no idea if this is going to show up on the camera or how this is going to work. Let's see. First, I got to figure out which lens this is recording through. Oh, shit. I saw it for a second. This is really tough. Hold up. Damn it. How the fuck do you do this? Wow. That's pretty wild. Two spots that I have marked on this side is basically where I saw, something funky going on. That was crazy. So let's see if we can't get that fixed with the strap. That was wild. Where's my vape? I need to hit my vape. I've never gone this long without hitting my vape, especially when sharpening. Plug this motherfucker in. Oh shit. So you guys that are still here, why don't you tell me what you guys are carrying today? I'll show you what I'm carrying today real quick. So I have my M390 Para 3. This still has a factory edge on it. This is one of my very few knives that I haven't sharpened. However, I have stropped this with the basswood. This thing's nice and sharp. But if you take a look at the edge and it looks like this little skip spots on the blade, that's because this is sharpened by the factory with a belt. So when you go to, put it against something flat, you're going to see those little like chatter marks. That's from a belt. But nonetheless, it's still really sharp. GB2 on the hip. Nice, nice. I was just carrying mine the other day. I actually just resharpened my GB2 the other day. That knife takes a freaking nasty edge, I'll tell you. Do you, Jared? I got some screws off Etsy for my Ultratech. This has a KME edge. Pretty neat. Slim midi. And I'm also carrying this. I couldn't resist it. So shout out to Eugene. He sent me this and this, plus 2 other knives. But yeah, I checked this thing out for the first time yesterday. And if you go watch the video when I unboxed this and all the knives that Eugene sent to me, man, you can tell that this thing got me excited. First time handling one of these. This thing is freaking nice, man. I tell you. And at first I thought it was just the front flipper. And I'm not really a front flipper fan, but the front flipper on this is good. It's still really satisfying. But then when I found out that I could middle finger flick this effortlessly, oh my God. Of course, I say that and then I fuck up. That's how it goes when you're on camera, guys. But yeah, this thing's just, it feels good in hand. And it's a great size too. Like when it's folded up and everything, it's pretty damn small, but I don't know, they designed it well. You have a good bit of cutting edge right here. I mean, shit. It has to be close to 3.5 inches. Let's see. This is like 3 1/4, I believe. Yeah, I mean, it's getting up there. And the handle, look, handle's no longer than your handle on a pair of 3. Not that Spydercos are known for good blade to handle ratios or Microtex, but I mean, just saying, you get a lot of blade in a small package. It's still comfortable in hand, and everything's like nice and rounded. I tell you, it really feels good in your hand for a smaller knife. It surprised me. Really love this thing. I think this is going to be next on my list of knives to buy for sure. I mean, I really like this. And it takes, man, it's not that often that I really get this excited over a knife, because I've handled, so many knives, and a lot of the knives that are held in regard as, known as the best. I've handled so many knives with that title that at this point, to get me this excited, it has to be really nice. And I'm telling you guys, do not sleep on this. These are really nice. Beautiful. Neves, do you have the mini Tempest, or do you have the what is it, the mini Evo Typhoon? David is carrying his XMA Team Recurve and Emerson CQC10. Sweet. Those are 2 knives that I haven't checked out. I have not handled the XMA Team Recurve yet. I think my buddy plans on sending me one really soon. And then the Emerson, I don't think I've checked out any of the nicer Emersons. The new Mini Temp. So what is this one? Is this not because I don't really follow them. Is this an older Mini Temp? Whoa. Is it an older one? All I know is I love this thing. And if so, what's the difference? Or I can always look it up later. But guys, I tell you, this thing is, I don't know what it is, man. It's not like completely dropped shut. It's like a really, really, really lightly kind of shake, like it's almost dropped shut, but it's also has that controlled factor to where it's not going to lop your fingers off, and it's still incredibly smooth, amazing action, and it stays rock solid. I mean, I flicked the crap out of this thing, and it hasn't loosened up on me at all, and I don't think it's going to. So that's how you know that you're getting into that area where the knife is made really, really good. There's very few knives that I've experienced that actually the pivot won't walk its way out. I mean, even on the hinders, it'll do that. But say like the Koenig Arius. The Koenig Arius, I did the disassembly maintenance, put skiffs in it, and put all back together. No Loctite or anything. And no matter how much I flicked that thing, it did not back out, and the action was amazing every single time. You know, it was consistent. So put this off to the side. I'll actually slip it in this case right here so it stays protected while I have all the sharpening stuff out. Definitely don't want to damage that because that is that's a sexy knife right there. All right, so back to stropping. Let's hit it on the 0.5 micron. And guys, when it comes to stropping, take it real slow and pay attention to the feedback. That's what I do as I'm finding my angle and getting into the groove, all right? I'm looking at it, and then I'm feeling for that feedback. I'm taking it nice and slow and making sure, based off of the feedback, that I'm keeping that angle and getting down kind of my range of motion, what I need to do to maintain that perfect contact patch as I'm going across. So just make sure you are being cautious. And it's not really too dangerous when if you're using light pressure, right? Because you don't really have as much of a chance of like, you know, having that suction and then it just releasing or kicking out and the blade go flying. Because that's what happened to me. You want to get that perfect contact with the strap to where you feel like you have that suction. And when you're on basswood, you do have to use a tiny bit of pressure, and it's okay because it's not going to wrap around your edge. So that's kind of why I like basswood, because you have a lot less of a chance of it wrapping around the edge and rounding your apex. When it comes to leather, you have to really be careful that you're not using too much pressure. And you want to stay away from any of the like fuzzy looking leather or any leather that has a lot of give to it. You might want to try the more dense leather that doesn't really doesn't have as much give to it at first. Damn. When you're doing it in hand, it's hard to get this heel. You also want to be listening. You want to be listening, you want to be feeling the feedback through the strop and through the blade. That's why I often put my I either have my finger or my thumb on top of the blade to feel like the way that the vibration is through it. You can tell a lot by that, by the resistance. You want to feel like it's it has resistance, but it feels like it's kind of suctioning to the surface. You don't want it to feel like it's scratching or scraping the surface at all. And if you don't feel any resistance or very, very little resistance, then that means that you are too low and you're probably polishing the side of your blade and not your edge bevel. All right. I wonder what steel this is. It's not, I don't know. It's just not performing the way that I really would like it to. Let's go back to the 3. I mean, it blew through the phone book paper and everything. It's sharp as shit, but you can still, it could still be a lot sharper. Ooh. There we go. I think that's it. I think the, I guess the fucking, the 0.5, mine is just the satin plain TI with blue fat carbon. Damn. That's the new one, it looks like. Nice. But, all right, let's see if I got those 2 spots worked out. right, I think I got the back one worked out. Maybe not. Yep, back one's worked out. Front one is a little bit better, but still getting hung up. What the fuck it is. All right, let's see. It would help if this paper wasn't bent either. Same two spots, man. Same two fucking spots. If I can't get them out right now, then it's gonna have to go back on the stones, I guess. I mean, I can't, even though it's sharp as shit, I can't send a knife back to somebody when knowing that there's something that's not right. That's why I charge what I charge for when it comes to the higher end knives and doing mirror polished edges, especially when it involves reprofiling and everything, like the Strider that I just finished, because this is how much work that goes into it for a knife that wasn't really even being reprofiled much. And this one wasn't even, you know, wasn't even requested for a mirror polished edge. And this is still the level of work that I'm putting into it because I want it to be, you know, perfect. All right, let's see. Motherfucker. I think this is good, actually. A lot of the snags are coming from the bends in that paper. Let's see on paper that's not bent. Damn it. Fucking same spot. Where'd my 3 mic kind go? There's some of this shit off. Damn, guys. Looks like my phone's about to die. Shit happens. Don't let it bother you too bad. Go at it later and start at medium grit. It will come. Yeah. You're right, Jared. And I don't know. It's made by WIHA. I'm not seeing a steel marking, but if I had to guess, probably 20 CV, M390, one or the other. But, you know, they're the same thing. But yeah, Jared, you are absolutely correct. When you're doing shit on camera, it adds a level of stress to it. And then when you're doing it live also, you know, that's a whole new level of stress. But, I mean, it's not, I don't know, it ain't that bad. It's not like it's not sharp. Like I have anything to fucking be embarrassed about or anything, but it is stressful when, you know, you run into an issue and it's not, you're not able to work it out as easy as you expect to. There it is. No more fucking snags now, guys. I think that's it. Motherfucker. Oh. Fuck. All right. I'm not sure if I'm going to mess with this a little bit more or not, but I think it's pretty fucking good. Yeah. Jared said, there's also a fact that you can only do what the steel allows you to do. Do your best, be picky, but don't let picky become a downfall. Amen to that, brother. Yeah, I think that's definitely something I need to keep in mind, because I do let some of these edges drive me crazy. And at the end of the day, they're still sharp as shit, But yeah. All right, guys. So I think that's going to be it for this one. My phone's about to die and give me a little time to take a break. But I appreciate everybody that has hung out here with me. David, or 9198 David, Eugene. Shout out to Eugene for sending these knives in to me. Shout out to Jared at Needs Knives. Appreciate all the support, all the tips, advice, everything, conversation, everything you do. Chris Wolf, Anthony M. And apologize if I missed anybody, but yeah. So, peace out, guys. See you guys in the next one.